स्ट्रॉ तो लेके आओ यार।
मैडम खाली चम्मच मिलेगा, चम्मच।
धूप के मर जा पेंट। Oh. Hello and welcome to Sound Smart News. This is Hina Jha filling in for Gopal Gulati, who is busy protesting for more rights for men. Speaking of men, today we are talking about abortion laws. Are you confused? Why? Are we still letting women decide what to do with their bodies? Of course not. Even the script was written by a man. The purpose of today's video is to examine the social psyche of the people, the lawmakers, and the medical providers. I mean, let's take India as an example, jahan abortion is legal, but it comes with a hearty side of slut shaming, casual slut shaming. In recent months, you must have heard the word abortion in the news. Let's take a closer look at why you were ambushed and harassed by such a trivial matter like a woman's autonomy on her body. On June 24, 2022, the US Supreme Court overruled Roe in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Organization, overruling Roe v. Wade, and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. For those of you unfortunate creatures who possess a uterus,
मजा नहीं आ रहा है.
You recognize Roe v. Wade as a landmark judgment in reproductive laws across the world. As the US Supreme Court conferred on women the right to have an abortion and the right to privacy that protects the woman's right to choose, while also acknowledging that abortion right is not absolute. But as we've seen since President Trump's election and the growing far-right conservative sentiment in the US, they've said bhaad mein jao to about everyone's rights except that of white cisgender men named Tom. In 2022, the US government's conservative bench ने finally अपने सीने की आग ठंडी कर दी by overturning Roe v. Wade. And because Indians बचपन से स्कूल में East or West, India is the best सुन के बड़े हुए हैं.
सब लोग बचपन में ही बड़े होते हैं.
तो अभी भी चूतिया ही. They were quick to point out that India has a more progressive outlook and laws when it comes to abortion. हाँ ससुर जी, हाँ पापा ने गाड़ी के डाउन पेमेंट कर दिए. हाँ अब तो मुझे सामान बांधने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. ओके ठीक है, मैं शूट में बाद में फोन कर. पेरिकोना बाय. तो हमने सोचा लेट्स फाइंड आउट इफ दिस इज इंडीड ट्रू. अब मुद्दे पे आते हैं. कंसेंशुअल सेक्स और रिप्रोडक्टिव राइट्स में क्या मजा है? जब तक थोड़ी जबरदस्ती ना हो, हाउ विल योर मेल ईगो बी स्टिमुलेटेड or your sanskar thirst be quenched, even if your size is only 3 inches. Unsafe abortions. Unsafe abortions are among the most common causes of maternal deaths in India. But that's okay because लड़कियां तो बस की तरह हैं. एक जाएगी तो दूसरी आएगी. In 2015, 15.6 million abortions were accessed annually in India, according to a study in the Lancet. Of these, 78% or 12.3 million were conducted outside health facilities. 56% abortions in India are unsafe, and 10 Indian women died daily due to unsafe abortions. And
men died.
Which all of them did. You wonder why you don't have a girlfriend.
मुझे क्यों तोड़ा?
As per a 2015 report by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare that cites data from research done between 2001 and 2004, 20% of the abortions take place in public sector facilities and 52% in private. 53% of abortions were performed by registered medical doctors and the rest were done by McDonald's staff. Add to this that specialists required for the medical boards that are supposed to sanction post-24-week abortions, gynecologists, pediatricians, radiologists or sonologists are in short supply. पैसे देके मेडिकल सीट खरीदेंगे तो ऐसा ही होगा. Anyway, rural India, where 66% of the country's population resides, reports a 70% shortfall in the number of obstetricians and gynecologists. Let's go over the actual laws governing abortions in India. But since this is going to be a wall of serious information, let's have these pandas playing in the background to make you less uncomfortable, unlike the women that are going through this. In a nutshell, up until 20 weeks of a pregnancy, you can get an abortion by claiming a broken condom. And after 20 to 24 weeks, you can get an abortion if there is a medical or a legal reason. This is the overall abortion stance of India. Now we get into the details, unlike you've never done for anything in your life. The Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act of 1971 allows for termination for all women in the first 20 weeks in the opinion of a registered medical practitioner. Only certain categories, however, are allowed termination between 20 and 24 weeks. The amendment in the MTP Act 2021 allowed for 7 categories that allow for this, but all of those reasons are either medical or legal. Because God forbid that a woman just wants to do what she wants to. According to the amendment proposed in 2020 to the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act, which later then became an act in 2021, failure of contraceptive is recognized as a valid ground for abortion for unmarried women too. I mean, somewhere Alok Nath is rolling in his grave. I mean, is he dead? Okay, anyway. So what does this mean? That means a broken condom is reason enough. More reasons for people to break condoms. Under unmarried, there are 2 categories, minor and adult. For minors seeking abortion, parental consent is required along with a valid reason for termination. The legal age for abortion in India is 18. But it's not all unicorns and rainbows. Because क्या आपको पता है कि there is a section of 312 in the Indian Penal Code according to which if even with a woman's consent, you cause a voluntary miscarriage, which can happen because, one, the woman's consent can be fake. Second, it could be because she doesn't have access to, a proper facility where she can go and get an abortion, or she doesn't have the money to get an abortion. She could be jailed, right? So we are ready to send these women to jail, but there is no legal action that is taken against healthcare providers or even, hospitals that can end up charging around 20,000 rupees for a tablet that costs only 400 rupees. Because अगर आपने इंडिया में अबला नारी को एक्सप्लॉइट नहीं किया तो क्या किया लाइफ में? सब कुछ अगर इतना चंगा भला है तो फालतू में एक्टिविस्ट बनने की क्या जरूरत है? क्या आप भी यही सोच रहे हैं? क्या आपके साथ कभी कैटफिश वाला धोखा हुआ है? मतलब फोटो में कुछ और असलियत में कुछ और? ऐसा ही कुछ स्टेट है अबॉर्शन लॉज का इन इंडिया. व्हाई इज दैट? पेट्रियार्की. एक ही तो प्रॉब्लम है हमारी. जहां जीन्स पहनने और नूडल्स खाने की आज़ादी भी नहीं मिलती, वहां प्री मैरिटल कंसेंशुअल सेक्स की आज़ादी एक्सपेक्ट करना इज लाइक एक्सपेक्टिंग योर मैनेजर टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू हैव अ लाइफ आउटसाइड वर्क. ये सब बस ख्वाबों और ख्यालों में होता है. If you have ever accompanied your partner or have by yourself gone through a gynecologist consult, you know that the first question you are asked is if you are married. There have been several reports of women being denied abortions on moral grounds by doctors or being asked to bring partners or parents along for the procedure. Because लड़कियों को कुछ आता थोड़ी, मतलब गाड़ी चलाना नहीं आता तो gynecologist के पास कैसे जाएंगे? This is especially the case when the abortion is sought on grounds not related to a woman's physical health as specified in the MTP Act, but because it can cause injury to her mental health, also covered by the Act. These reports have shown anti-choice rhetoric, whether invoked by individuals, governments or the courts, aren't actually rooted in fetal viability or fetal personhood. They are rooted in controlling women's bodies, and this desire for control has always been institutional. And obviously to punish a woman for having consensual sex. So now that women do have the right to choose what happens to their body, at least on paper, please use this information to discuss how to stop this menace with your bros and sanskari families. And be careful to never let a woman get hold of this information, as it can be detrimental to the izzat of your khandan. And if you don't want to live in an immoral country trying to let women choose for themselves, you can always move to the United States.